If you're getting paid good for that one fight, why don't we do it 3 times this year? We're gonna get more money anyway. It's a no-lose situation. It's all up. It's all a win. Everything's a win. You're fighting, you're getting in shape, you're getting paid more money than you ever did before.
For a Floyd Mayweather that is clearly going broke, this is the truth. There is no speculation, but I told you guys, Floyd owes a lot of people a lot of money, and he don't have it. Logan Paul also discussed this, and this is probably the best screenshot I couldn't gotten on this video. My God, his ramen noodle hair is flying in the wind, and there's no wind in that place. But Logan dropped some knowledge that Floyd is still scamming him.
According to reports, Mike Tyson has revealed that Floyd Mayweather reportedly requested additional compensation in his fight contract, even amid growing concerns about his financial situation, including reports of bankruptcy and uncontrolled spending.
I was gonna hate on Floyd, so they would want to see the fight. They want to see Floyd get beat. But are they going to fight?
I know they're going back and forth.
Yeah, I don't think they would matter. If he wants to make some money, Floyd want to make some money. If he wants to make some money, he could fight
your guy Jake.
Wade Clemens reflects that the truly troubling aspect isn't the bankruptcy itself. It's the reality that a person who generated extraordinary wealth now finds himself in hardship, largely as a result of poor financial decisions.
Money to them, and had apparently not much of it in liquidity, not much that he could actually spend, or at least that's what his representatives said. His representatives wrote back to the IRS, this true story, you guys can look it up, that he could not make the payment. He couldn't do it. He didn't have $22 million liquid in cash. For a guy that had made, up until that point, let's just say $900 million, because he made $300 million fighting Conor, he didn't have $22 million sitting around in a bank for all that cash he's flexing, for all those cars, for all the places. And again, I'm not saying that multi-millionaires and billionaires have $1 billion liquid, but you couldn't have found 22 mil. So his representative said, wait, we're going to have this fight, and then he'll pay.
Joe Rogan points out that Floyd Mayweather brought in amounts of money that few athletes have ever seen, yet a lifestyle defined by extravagant spending gradually eroded that fortune, a reminder that even the largest income means nothing without disciplined money management.
As much money as he's made in his career, which he's probably made as much, if not more money than any boxer ever. Like, there's all these lawsuits, like he hasn't been paying things, and he owes money on this and owes money on that, and it's like, and then he's got to come out of retirement.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. I think it's just the lifestyle that Floyd lived.
Yes.
I think he can't fathom to just live a modest lifestyle. It's like he got to be lavish.
Right. He's got to have those videos where it shows you all the watches, where he opens the case up, you know.
All the money. He got to show that he got $1 million in his backpack. And, you know, he got the latest watch and the latest car, and look what I just bought.
And when you get into latest watches and latest cars, you get into that like, boy, that money goes quick.
Yeah.
Bugattis are like $3 million. There's watches that are $3, $5.
WAC 100 argues that the widespread narrative painting Mayweather as broke is largely blown out of proportion. In his view, Mayweather's return to competitive boxing is more likely driven by restlessness than by any genuine financial desperation.
Number one is, if Floyd ain't talking about it and Floyd ain't promoting it, then it's just talk.
They're accusing him of going broke because he's looking for these fights.
They've been accusing Floyd of going broke for 20 years. Now, let's talk about going broke. Maybe down to 200 million. Maybe that's his broke. I don't know.
Maybe that's his broke.
What I do know is his homes is still there, because when he tell me to come see him, it's the same addresses. Every time he called me, it's stars on the roof. Right? So I don't know, unless somebody is hacked into this man's finances. They always accuse the man of going broke. So maybe he's bored.
Mainly 50.
Simon Jordan highlights that boxing is reaching new audiences through emerging platforms such as Netflix, which offers fighters significant payouts. He predicts that a Mayweather versus Tyson matchup would pull in enormous revenue on a global scale.
Netflix started as a concept that used everyone else's content. and then started to commission their own content. They started to make their own films. You know, The Irishman was a film made for Netflix with Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci, and they started to build out their own content. They're now a business that has huge reach, huge opportunity, and sports is a massive passion center. It's a massive driver. Why would you not have versions of sport? They've dipped their toes in with Drive to Survive and all the other different shows that have ultimately been in the past, which whether it was them that did Drive to Survive, I can't remember. But so, you know, and I'm surprised, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Amazon come and play more regularly in this. And what it is, and what it should be, is good for the sports in terms of the economics that they bring to the sports. The more eyes that are on the prize, the wider the net, the bigger the interest levels come. You know, I remember talking to Turkey Al Sheikh about Netflix, because obviously he's got an interest in...
Dan Lobatard breaks down the sheer scale of Floyd Mayweather's earnings, pointing out that only a tiny fraction of professional athletes have ever come close to matching his financial output. Lobatard explains that Mayweather mastered the pay-per-view model, structuring his deal so that the bulk of the revenue flowed directly to him. Operating independently, with full control over his contracts and promotions, he built a level of financial autonomy that was nearly without equal in sports. Still, Lobatard finds it almost impossible to comprehend how someone could squander wealth of that magnitude, suggesting it would take truly reckless fiscal behavior to arrive at that outcome.
You know, athletic money being blown is a bit of a cliche. There are very few athletes ever who have made the kind of money that Floyd Mayweather has made, and because he's the best in the history of pay-per-view at making sure that the money ends up in his pocket. He is or has been a businessman as an athlete that almost doesn't have a peer because he owns all his own stuff as an independent. Your spending has to be so fiscally irresponsible to lose the amount of money that Floyd Mayweather has lost that it is almost beyond anything that is reason. It's not merely fiscal insanity. It's something that doesn't make any sense to me.
Right, and another sign of him maybe in...
As of February 2026, Mayweather filed a $340 million lawsuit against Showtime Networks and former executive Steven Espinoza in an effort to recoup lost earnings. Throughout his boxing career, he is believed to have generated over $1.2 billion in fight revenue alone. Lobatard suggests that his spending over the past 25 years may have approached the billion-dollar mark, underscoring just how unsustainable that lifestyle proved to be. He recounts a story from South Beach where Mayweather casually handed over $10,000 in cash simply for a few beach chairs, a vivid illustration of his approach to money. Lobatard also draws comparisons to figures like Don King and Muhammad Ali, noting how contract structures and cash handling have long shaped what fighters actually take home. Even accounting for those losses, Mayweather's total career earnings exceeded those of celebrated athletes like Tom Brady, making both his rise and his financial challenges all the more remarkable.
2026, Floyd Mayweather has initiated a massive $340 million lawsuit against Showtime Networks and former executive Steven Espinoza. So he's trying to get some bread right now.
The estimate is that he made over $1.2 billion over the course of his career and just earnings from fights.
Yeah, I think a question though that you should also ask outside of like how much has he made is how much has he spent, you know? Because I would say he's fully capable of spending close to $1 billion in the last 25 years.
You say that, but I not to turn into the movie Brewster's Millions from the 1980s. It's hard to spend that money. It really is hard to spend that much money and end up in a situation where you have to fight at 49 because you're so used to a lifestyle that brings in giant amounts of money that the only way for you to make a giant amount of money is to do what he...
Wade Clemens takes a closer look at Mayweather's financial picture, noting that while he surrounds himself with luxury cars, high-end jewelry, and premium assets, his capacity to actually hold on to wealth appears to be a serious weakness. Clemens acknowledges that Mayweather has a genuine talent for self-promotion and income generation, but argues that his spending behavior points to a fundamental failure in asset management. The fact that he keeps stepping back into the ring to sustain his lifestyle suggests he never truly secured the wealth he earned. Clemens also references former Mayweather-connected fighter Ish Smith, making the point that professional boxers almost never come out of retirement approaching the age of 50 unless financial pressure is a real factor. He cites Business Insider reporting that Mayweather owes $1.4 million in jewelry debt, hundreds of thousands in unpaid rent, jet fuel, and maintenance costs, and has leveraged jets and properties as collateral on a $54 million loan carrying 9% interest. On top of that, 2 of his commercial properties have gone into foreclosure, and tax obligations tied to his Las Vegas strip club remain unsettled.
There are other supercars and jewelry, yeah, I know it can appreciate, but like that, supercars, all this other stuff. Floyd is the greatest businessman of selling himself, but he's not, clearly, from all indications, a good businessman in retaining assets that actually keep his money safe. Because if he needs to continue fighting all the time to be able to retain all the money he made, then it's not a good indication that he did well with the money he had at the time he made it. In fact, it's the opposite of that. It's the indication that he spent so much and got so little out of it that it's starting to hurt more and more. I mean, again, we had here's one of Floyd's old fighters, Ish Smith, talking about Floyd. He was under Mayweather for a long time. Read in between the lines, people don't come out of retirement for the love of the game damn near 50.
Clemens is clear that these are not rumors or speculation, they are documented financial realities. He notes that despite pulling in more than $1.2 billion over his career, Mayweather has shed somewhere between 70 and 90% of that wealth through mismanagement and excessive spending. Whether it's 50 Cent's public challenges or the $340 million lawsuit, Clemens keeps returning to the same core observation: Mayweather's ability to earn money has always vastly outpaced his ability to preserve it. He wraps up by noting that while fans may have varying opinions on his lifestyle choices, watching Mayweather compete in exhibition bouts against opponents like Mike Tyson makes one thing clear: he remains focused on generating income far more than on protecting his legacy.
That's the facts. We had the Business Insider article, which, I mean, they went deep into detail. They got so into it, I think in even a past article of Floyd's, that Floyd sued him for $100 million. I don't know what the case is there. I don't know what the standing is, but they got deep into the weeds with this, talking about how they said that, I mean, things that they said in this article were insane. That Floyd owes like $1.4 million in jewelry debts, that Floyd owes like hundreds of thousands of dollars in rent for a private New York apartment. His private jet fuel, he's not paid hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of fuel and maintenance. He put up one of his jets that I think he even sold, but one of his jets, and I want to say one of his properties, like one of his homes, up as collateral for a $54 million loan from an individual, from a billionaire, that had a 9% interest on the
WAC 100 pushes back on the narrative, arguing that the hundreds of millions Mayweather earns from exhibition fights don't tell the full story of where he stands financially. He contends that Mayweather keeps showing up not out of desperation, but because the opportunities are appealing and he genuinely enjoys competing. WAC 100 insists that Mayweather is making sound, calculated investments and managing his finances responsibly. The caliber of his earnings, from fights against Tyson to his historic bout with Manny Pacquiao, reflects someone who is anything but financially ruined. In his view, the spending and investment patterns visible from the outside actually point to stability, directly contradicting the bankruptcy narrative. WAC 100 concludes that Mayweather continues to hold substantial wealth while simply taking advantage of high-profile opportunities as they arise.
He's still performing like he always has. Maybe he's bored. Maybe somebody came and told him, man, we got $200-300 million, man, to get in the ring with, you know, we got $150 million to get in the ring with Mike Tyson on some exhibition shit. And then 6 months later, we got $300 million for you to get in the ring with Manny Pacquiao. He look it up, he like, that's $450 million. Sometimes you miss the light. But I can guarantee you, he ain't broke. He's making a lot of sound investments. You hear me, Cam Capone?
Yep.
This I know for a fact. He's making a lot of sound investments. And the investments I've seen being made.
Sean Porter weighs in on Mayweather's decision to enter another fight, framing it as a potentially smart move rather than a questionable one. Porter believes that even at this stage of his career, Mayweather still has the physical and mental tools to handle the demands of the ring. He sees the matchup as more than just a challenge, it's a well-timed opportunity for Mayweather to leverage his experience and unmatched name recognition. Porter suggests the fight could serve multiple purposes, reinforcing his legacy, putting his refined skills on display, and securing another major financial payday. According to Porter, this kind of calculated decision-making is exactly what has defined Mayweather's career, a consistent ability to turn high-profile situations into personal and professional wins.
You don't want to do what we've seen Mike Tyson do against Jake Paul. You don't want to get in that ring and you having driven that car in so long that the engine runs hot, you know? So both these guys, I think they're more than anything, they're trying to show us how serious they are about doing it again against one another. So,
Sean, how shocked were you when you found out that Floyd was coming back? Last time he fights is in 2017 against Conor McGregor. The guy has not fought, I said more than a decade, almost a decade I should have said, in almost a decade. Even when you're Floyd Mayweather, that's got to be a hard thing to do, and especially when you're 49 years old.
So there's some really good pros about it. You know, he's done some exhibitions. He's shown that he still has the abilities that he's had. They're clearly not what they used to be, but they're still there. You know, and then beyond that, the fact that he lives a good...
Prominent boxing analyst Henry made no effort to hide his skepticism about the anticipated Mayweather vs. Tyson matchup, describing it as a contest driven almost entirely by money rather than sporting merit. He questioned why Tyson would return to the ring again following his exhibition against Jake Paul, calling the logic behind the decision hard to defend from a competitive standpoint. Henry's view is that these comeback events exist primarily to generate buzz, secure massive payouts, and feed public curiosity, not to advance the sport in any meaningful way. He acknowledged that both Mayweather and Tyson carry iconic status and extraordinary careers, but warned that exploiting those names for commercial gain risks doing lasting damage to boxing's credibility. For Henry, the sport's foundation rests on skill, discipline, and honest competition, and spectacle-driven matchups blur the boundary between athletics and entertainment in a way that leaves serious fans deeply dissatisfied.
Floyd Mayweather made close to $1 billion in his career. I mean, his career earnings are absolutely insane. His activities since then almost feel kind of demeaning to his legacy, I suppose you could say. Well, I can tell you that I did a little digging, and actually there are a number of lawsuits that are currently active against Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s name, and they're worth a significant amount of money. From controversies around endorsing certain cryptocurrencies, to millions of dollars worth of unpaid luxury items, and even allegations of unpaid luxury apartment rent. These are all alleged, and these are all the cases that currently exist against him. There's no record of some kind of settlement, and as far as I know, a lot of these are ongoing. To add to that, Mayweather even lodged his own case against Showtime, and he did that this year, reportedly seeking damages of $340 million. And the allegation there is apparently there's been a misappropriation of his...
As someone who has followed boxing closely for years, Henry finds this pattern genuinely frustrating. He argues that pulling retired legends back into the spotlight for exhibition bouts chips away at what makes the sport worth watching, shifting the conversation from technique and competitive excellence to celebrity and showmanship. In his view, events like this are engineered to maximize eyeballs and revenue while contributing almost nothing to boxing's competitive legacy. He draws a sharp contrast between these spectacles and the traditional path of a professional boxer, one built through years of disciplined training and hard-fought competition at the highest levels. Henry stresses that regardless of Mayweather and Tyson's legendary status, using their identities purely as commercial vehicles sets a troubling precedent. For him, the fight represents a wider pattern taking hold in boxing, one where entertainment value consistently edges out athletic substance, leaving the sport's purists wondering whether these events genuinely honor the craft or simply cash in on nostalgia and celebrity appeal.
This happening now, I think a lot of it is to do with just the basic thing of money. The fact that they both need money. Mayweather probably needs it a little bit more than Pacquiao does, but it's there no matter what. One of the strange truths about this one coming into it is they're both going to be having exhibition bouts in the next couple of months. Pacquiao is randomly taking on Ruslan Provodnikov, who some of you may remember was a champion at 140 pounds. And Mayweather's taking on Mike Tyson of all people. I mean, that's the most money motivated thing I've ever heard. It's utterly bizarre. And I don't want to see Mike Tyson anywhere near the ring again, especially after that Jake Paul fiasco. This whole thing's incredibly weird. I don't like it. I'm a proper boxing fan, and these fights to me, this OAP stuff they've got going on when they bring back these old fighters for one more go at each other, it's just not something that I particularly enjoy. Now look, it's going to be on Netflix. It's probably going to be a massive event. I'm probably going to end up covering.
That wraps things up for today's video. Make sure you stay tuned. More is coming soon.